And we're live. Hey Eric, how's it going?
Good, Andre. How you doing? We're going to take a look at June operating data for our forecasts versus actuals.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about the different components of the retail marketing channel. We've got compensation, marketing cost, IT, and kind of other expenses. I'm going to start off with the good news. For compensation, it seems like the actuals were lower due to bonus payouts. So this is both good and bad in some sense. From the expenses standpoint, we spent less than we forecast, but this is actually due to because we had a more challenging economic environment. This past month, things have been a little bit rough, and so our bonus payouts were actually about 50% in terms of 100%. So we saved a little bit of money, but it's because the environment was so tough. Now the bad news is that marketing cost for June was actually about 4% over what we forecast, and our revenues actually were 11% lower than what we forecast or intended. So we spent more in terms of marketing costs, right? But we got less out in terms of revenue. Now you might be asking, what did we spend more money on, right? So we spent more money on advertising. We had additional spending for Vegetarian Times Magazine. I don't know if you saw the spread. We also had marketing programs that we put in place, and we're actually focusing on email marketing campaigns. In terms of the public relations costs, that's we've gone ahead and we've split those costs over the years. So for this month, PR expenses were actually higher, but for next month, July, we intend to make them lower in order to kind of fit with the forecast in the app. So the variance overall, again, it was a negative variance, and that was about 2,975.
Okay. That's good to hear that there were some savings on the compensation expense. I think you mentioned that it wasn't great for the employees because it was such a challenging economic environment, but at least we did come under our forecast numbers. I also see what you're talking about with the marketing costs, that it was a little bit higher than we forecast to spend. And in the future, for the back half of the year, we need to find opportunities to decrease spending.
Yeah, I know you were going to bring that up. In this back half of the year, we're going to definitely try to do a little bit better than we've been doing this past month.
So,
Yeah.
so we can take a look at the IT costs.
Yeah, so the IT costs, sadly, we had a negative variance there. So again, actuals ended up being about $1,500 higher than what we forecast. The reality of that is that it's due to computer hosting, and it wasn't possible for us to negotiate those costs down, although we did try. We're still in negotiations right now. It's not looking great, to be totally honest, but we're still going to try to do something to make it so that for the back half of the year, we can actually reduce those costs.
Yeah, I believe the ongoing negotiations will become a key factor in reducing these IT costs. As we've discussed in the fact, there is kind of no room to maneuver on these, but if we can keep negotiating, we can at least keep trying to reduce our costs for the overall year.
Definitely. And in terms of we had extremely small amount, $3 in terms of these others in terms of variance, positive variance of about $3. But I would say marketing costs is probably where we should focus, and I'm going to make sure that I look at that through the entire month of July.
Okay. And I also noticed that in total, our actuals were slightly less than our forecast, which for an overall company picture is great, which means that we can try and meet our future goals for a 10% reduction this year over last year. And it looks like that compensation expense savings is offset by the increased marketing costs in IT, but we probably want to see that flip so that we're giving our retail marketers, the compensation that that they can get while we're saving costs.
100% agree. Eric, thank you again for your time. I really appreciate it.
Definitely, Andre. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to discuss this, and I look forward to maybe doing this again next month.
Thanks.